Hello folks, welcome. My name is Brad Williams. I'm one of the managing partners here at Trade Ideas. We're the technology that we're going to be talking about here today that's inside of your eSignal application through the App Store. Maybe you guys could shoot me one more message in that question window just to make sure that you can hear me okay and that my screen is coming through. I know a few more have trickled in since I did that last sound check. Excellent. I appreciate it. So let's just really get started. This is a presentation today that's mixed, a little bit of PowerPoint, a little bit of product demonstration. We'll go right into the product and then certainly take some questions from you guys. Let's just start off, and I want to let you guys know that Trade Ideas is a software technology company. We are not an investment advisory firm. This presentation today is not to provide you symbols to go trading tomorrow. This is really for educational purposes, and I'll take you on a tour of this incredible piece of technology that's embedded inside of eSignal, which is in and of itself an incredible piece of technology as well. So here's the agenda today. I want to make sure that everybody steps away from this presentation knowing exactly what Trade Ideas does and how it can help you in your trading. Also, why it's a must-have if you have an eSignal subscription and you already have, their great analytics, why it's such a benefit to have this tool incorporated into your workflow. I'll talk a bit about the default view that you see when you load it up initially, and then I'll talk specifically about the different windows that come with the software, how you can use the channel bar and really get instant value out of the tool. So let's just get right into it here. So what is Trade Ideas? Trade Ideas at its core is an idea generation tool. It's a piece of technology that sits alongside of you. It can be considered your trading assistant. It's going to be spotting opportunities for you throughout the day, and it can work in a way that you have it configured specifically to the types of setups that you like to trade, or it can be a type of tool that's a little bit more generic in nature, where we've created a channel bar. It's like a remote control to the market, and it lets you view different scenarios and peruse different market events in real time. And using that in conjunction with your own windows is how most people use our technology, but I'll make sure that you guys understand the different visualization elements as well. One of the things that Trade Ideas does that is incredible, so we're the best at what we do from a market scanning and idea generation perspective, but what we do behind the scenes, what we do on the server level really makes this technology come to life. We create new forms of data in real time off of standard market data, structured and unstructured data, whether it be social data that when we connect to stockedwits. And by that I mean we're connected to these exchanges and we're getting in all this market data in real time. But what we do with that, we statistically baseline everything. So we essentially know on any given time frame what's normal price action, what's normal volume behavior for all the stocks that are out there, and like I said, on every single time frame. So when something interesting happens, our technology is perfectly suited to be able to identify that and deliver that information right to your desktop. And then as it's integrated in eSignal, you just simply click on that window, click on that symbol, it'll update your charts, it'll update your level 2, your order entry if you have that component, your news. All of those great features of eSignal are then completely integrated with the idea technology of Trade Ideas. So while we do give you that head start of being able to get started right away with our channel bar, we also allow you and everybody to really treat Trade Ideas like a piece of clay and model it however you want it to be shaped and formed to be able to deliver the type of ideas that you want to have visible in this software. And then I'll talk a little bit about the odds maker, which is our event-based backtesting tool that's also included in this App Store subscription. All right, so specific to eSignal, why is it really important to have this as a tool that goes alongside of the analytics that you get with eSignal? And that's one of the big things, is that we're sitting and we're looking at every single stock all the time. We're not going to limit you, the end user, to a certain number of symbols that you can watch simultaneously. And because eSignal is that real-time data provider bringing so much data to you through your client, they do limit the number of symbols that you can monitor in real time. But Trade Ideas is it's a server client piece of software, but so much of the heavy lifting is done on the server, we don't have any limitations like that. So while we're scanning the entire market looking for different opportunities, then just by having that inside of your eSignal, you can click on one of those symbols and, like I mentioned earlier, drill down into any of those particular securities and look at the chart on the different time frames and really drill into some of the nice analytics that are available. So that's, basically what I said. You do get access to all the different symbols that exist, and coupled with the eSignal, it really gives you an incredible breadth of idea generation at your fingertips. Now, another thing that I want to point out before I kind of talk about the technology, it's the value that you get out of having trade ideas inside of eSignal. The cost is really half of what it would be if you were to subscribe directly to us through our website. And we do have a variety of different integrations. We're integrated inside of Scottrade, eTrade, inside of coming soon inside of TradeStation. So a lot of different integrations. But the very nice thing about this is the price point, and it's about half price through eSignal. So please keep that in mind. I'm going to just briefly kind of go through the different visuals that we'll see in the demonstration of the product so that you have an idea of what we're looking at. This right here is the default view that you get when you load in the Trade Ideas trial, and it's a view of the social media channel. That view over here on the left, all these different icons, think of that like your remote control to the market, and you can click on any of those different themes, if you will, to bring in a variety of different windows specific to that theme. So I think if I click on this next slide, it's going to drill in a little bit, and we can see specifically the two windows that are included inside of the social media channel. And the social media channel, any symbol that's present in either of those windows, either in the upper window, which is a top list, a list of stocks, or whether it's present in the bottom window, the multi-strategy window, which is a real-time stream of information. When something happens, it's going to populate. Nevertheless, any symbol that's present in either of these is going to be mentioned more than normal on social media. So I said earlier, we connect to structured and non-structured data. Structured data would be like bringing in level 1 from the exchange, the last, the volume, the bid, the ask, and that information. Well, unstructured data is like connecting to Twitter or to stockedwits, and we do have a connection to stockedwits, and the very same thing that we do with market data by creating new data and statistical baselines, we do with the social data. And an example of that would be this column that's stockedwits relative activity, and it's present in both of these windows, and the relative activity is letting me know how much is that stock being talked about right now compared to normal. So it's that normal level that we know and we're always aware of, and when something abnormal happens, whether it's something moving very fast, a lot of volume coming into it, or whether it's something being talked about a lot more than normal, that's data that is going to come to your attention through the social media channel. Let's go to this next one here that talks a little bit about some of the different windows. And I'll spend more time inside of these windows in the software, but just suffice it to say, there's an icon in the upper left of each one of our windows, and that icon is going to let you know what type of window that is. So the A stands for an alert window. The M stands for a multi-strategy. These are very similar types of windows. They're both event-based windows. When something happens that you've got it configured for, it's going to deliver that signal right to the top of the window. And typically it's chronologically based, so the most recent symbol will be on top. And this is a single strategy looking for a particular type of setup. Well, with the multi-strategy window, it's far more powerful because we're not using as much desktop real estate. You can have 20, 30 different strategies embedded in, or one or two, but embedded into this window. So effectively, I could have this down big yesterday, but up big today inside of this window, along with the other, say, 19 different strategies. When any one of those events occur, whether it's a trading up or a climactic move or crossing a moving average, I'm going to be alerted to that information. And whether it's just something coming through the window or some type of pop-up or audible signal, those are other types of notifications that are available through Trade Ideas. If I go into a couple of the other windows, and there are just a few of them, but just if you're aware, the top list window is a ranked list of stocks. It has that T in the upper left corner, but this is going to deliver the stocks based upon the filtered criteria that you have set in there, and a variety of different sort orders. So there's a server sort, a client sort. You bring those together and you have a very powerful window that's always updating and delivering very interesting ideas. And I'll show you how that looks inside of the different channels that we have available. This window on the bottom right, this is our compare count window. This is a real-time bear against bull type of window. It's letting me know graphically what symbols are making new highs, and this is fully configurable, by the way, but this is specifically right now looking for stocks making new highs versus stocks making new lows. But it's more than that high-low ticker that we're kind of all familiar with. This right here is now painting a graphical picture. It's a fight, if you will, and you can see a little bit of the historical scenario. You can reset it. So there's a lot of different dynamic ways to use this particular bit of information. And we've included this component inside of a variety of channels as well, just because it is so powerful. So lastly, right here, from a window perspective, we have our event-based backtesting, the odds maker that I alluded to earlier. This is a tool that can be run inside of any alert window. So the alert window is that event-based notification window. So on a window like that, you could basically set up a hypothesis and say, anytime a symbol is generated in the strategy that I've created, let's say I want to hold it for a certain amount of time, and it can be intraday or multiple days or at a certain time of day. You want to hold it for a certain amount of time. You want to initiate the trade during a certain window of opportunity. And then you could even put on some certain risk parameters, like you don't want to stop. You want to have a protective stop loss of, say, 50 cents, a profit target of $1.50 or $2 or something like that, or a percentage. So you put in these instructions and then you tell it, okay, how would I have done? And it comes back with this information that we see here on the right. It gives you a little bit of statistics on the left and a graphical equity curve on the right. So you have a great idea using the particular set of instructions that you told it to run, how that strategy would have performed had you executed every signal that was generated and held it for the predefined amount of time that you specified. So this is a really great piece of technology, and what we've been doing outside of our integration with eSignal, we've created an artificial intelligence off of this technology. So we hope to bring that aspect of our technology into the eSignal integration in short while, but for now it's just through the downloadable, but it's just giving you an idea of how we've taken this technology, this backtesting technology, and really built upon it. So we're super excited about the possibilities that exist with our artificial intelligence. Before I get into the software, this will be the last slide, and I showed this whether you're an eSignal subscriber subscribing to Trade Ideas or whether you're a direct subscriber through our website. We have a tremendous amount of resources available to you, not just through our YouTube page or online. A lot of stuff there for sure, but also really these live presentations, webinars, as well as a trading room that I absolutely, if there's one thing that you get out of today, please know that we have a trading room. It's free of charge right now. There are about 600 people that attended on a daily basis, and I assure you, if you do take the time to stop in, you'll see why it's so compelling. It's a full screen share. We have a trading moderator named Barry Anderson. He's a fantastic trader, very experienced with our technology, and it's a very interactive environment where certain number of traders are calling out signals, Barry's talking about them, pulling them up with our technology. There's a complete collaboration of windows, sharing windows, just a community. So to get there, super easy. I'm going to kind of divert away from the presentation. Just go to www.trade-ideas.com, and up in the top, in the menu structure up at the top, you're going to see Live Trading Room. Just go there, click here to enter the room, and it's going to be Omnovia. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's a nice piece of software that allows Barry to communicate, share his screen. From an end user perspective, really easy for you guys to mute it, to turn the volume up and down, to scale the screen. So it's a nice piece of software. I highly recommend that you guys take a look at this room, this collaboration that we've created, and it's really symbiotic with the technology that we have as well. So let me go back here. You're not alone, right? So we have this trading room every day. He gets in about a half hour before the market opens, and depending on the day, it may go up until the market close or maybe a half hour before the market close, but please check it out. And then in addition to that, I mentioned we have webinars. We have webinars on Monday. We have webinars on Wednesday. I host one of those, a QA webinar. And then we have a trading studio on Thursday. So all of these are real interactive sessions where if you have questions, we're perfectly set up to answer those. And moreover, probably well, it's not even on the screen here, but it's the way that we onboard new users. We have a personal one-on-one training session that you sign up for when you sign up, and we're more than happy to extend that to anybody that signs up through eSignal as well. You just go to our website, the support tab, and sign up for the training. And we do a web share session, a screen share where we connect to your desktop and we walk you through the product and answer any questions that you may have, show you how to set up a window that you may be looking to set up. So everybody should take advantage of that. It's a real valuable resource. And so suffice it to say, your questions will never go unanswered, and we're here to help. We want to make sure you understand the software. We've been doing this. We've been creating this piece of technology for over 14 years. We've been offering it to the public for 13 years. So we've been doing this for some time. And in those 13, 14 years, the product has really been a continual evolution. We started off with just the alert window, brought in the backtesting, brought in the multi-strategy, the top list, and just the tech has gotten better and better and better. And now we've recently released the artificial intelligence. So it's really just definitely been a work in process, but the issue is that the software can be incredibly complex. There's a lot you can do with it. So we don't want that to overwhelm and intimidate anyone. Just know we're here to help. So let's get right to the software. This is not the default view. This is the surge channel, but I want to start here. I want to start with the eSignal app. If you go to Trade Ideas and you select the Trade Ideas trial, everybody should have access to a 30-day free trial of Trade Ideas. So if you get to this point right here and you see, as my screen does, it says your 30-day trial has expired, let me know. Send me an email. You can send it to info, I-N-F-O, at trade-ideas. You can send it to me, Brad, B-R-A-D, at trade-ideas. And let me know your eSignal username. You can also, if you're not sure what it is, you can get to it from here. Trade Ideas pops in that ES colon in front of it. But if you just give me this information right here, I'll be more than happy to extend your demo so that you can play around with the software and see if it's for you, see if it's going to help you find ideas during the day. So that's the trial. Now, I'm in the premium, and you can, let me just close this right here, and you can get to the premium right from the eSignal apps, Trade Ideas Premium. And there are a variety of different windows inside of Trade Ideas. And as I said early on, you can go ahead and get started right away getting value out of the software without knowing how to configure it. But as you get more comfortable with the software and you want it to do certain things, just know that everything inside of here can be configured. And what a lot of people do is they'll go through, the different channels that we have. And for instance, let's say I'm here on I'm on the surge channel right now, and I really like this window. I like this high volume movers, but I want to kind of make it my own. I want to change some of the parameters around a little bit. Well, you can just right click on any of the windows inside of the channel that we're looking at here, and you can select pop out. And what that allows me to do is now take that window into a free floating mode, and I can do a bunch of different things with it. I can change it if I want. I could save it to my own cloud. We give our users the ability to create windows, save them to your cloud, so at any point in the future you can pull them up or share them with a colleague, and like I said, create a nice collaboration effort. So if I wanted to grab this window and I wanted to save it to my own particular cloud, I just right click, and that's important to know. The right click is the way that we bring up the menus here in Trade Ideas, and everything is context sensitive. So depending upon where you click, you're going to be presented with a menu structure that's specific to that area that you clicked on. So in this particular case, I would want to go save or share to cloud, and now I can just, it's already called the high volume movers, I can just save that and now pull it up at any time in the future. So over here on the left, I've got this channel bar, and if I wanted to, for instance, move to the social media channel, I can just select it, and inside of this container, these two windows will be present. This one here is a streaming view. This one here is that top list view. But remember, I saved that last window to my cloud, so if I wanted to create a layout, multi-monitor, have some windows that are popped out, I could just go right to my cloud right here, and I can see that I've got that high volume movers window, and if I load it, it's just going to pop that right back up for me. So now I've got that high volume mover window. Okay. So other windows, you can access everything right here from this drop down, whether it's your welcome screen, and this is a nice place to get started. This right here gives you a variety of different tabs. The first set of tabs are those channels. So if you want to launch that channel window, you can do so right here from the welcome screen. And then we give you inside of the strategies tab the ability to pull up a single type of window. So in the alert section, if you went to bullish, for instance, we've got some pre-configured strategies already ready for you. So for instance, if I select new daily high, I can do that, and now I have a window that's looking for nothing but new daily highs. And in this case, my new daily highs will probably include, if I go into it and take a look, pre-market, regular market, and post-market signals. So I'm going to right-click, brings up my menu structure, select configure, and now I can see exactly what my setup is. I'm looking for, well, if I go to my summary tab, you can see I'm looking at new highs, pre-market, and post-market with just a modicum of filtering. So if you notice that display, it was streaming pretty good. It was moving relatively fast. I may want to add filters to that to slow it down. And maybe my filter might be volume based. And we have a great filter called relative volume. So if I move my tab to the filters and I type in relative volume, I have the filter right here that I could add to it. And relative volume, I picked that one on purpose because it's probably my favorite filter in the software. It's a really dynamic filter that looks at the stock's volume at this point in time. Now, this is after market hours, but it would work the same way during market hours. It's looking at this point in time and letting me know what kind of volume is that stock doing relative to its normal volume. So a value of 1 would be normal, a value of 0.65 would be 65% of normal, and a value of 1.57 would be 57% more than normal. A value of 2, twice the normal volume. So those are all significant. If I put in, say, 1.5, that's going to be a good filter. I'm going to hit OK. Now I've added that. The current volume has to be at the relative volume 1.5. And now I'm sure the stream is going to be much slower than before. And anything coming through here is going to have a relative volume value greater than 1.5. And then as that comes through in that integrated nature, I could go ahead and click on that symbol, have it update my charts, my stockedwits. It's kind of nice when you're on the social media channel and it pulls up the stockedwits window, bringing some nice cohesiveness to these different data points and different windows. But as signals come through, you can then go ahead and make adjustments, take a look at it, see if that's the type of setup that you're looking for, and if it's not, if you want to look for something different, you just go ahead and you make a filter change. So let's go ahead and close this. Let's go back up to the welcome screen. Same thing for a top list window. So let's kind of look at a top list window and look at the difference between a top list and an alert window, if you will. So if I pull up a volume radar, this is now going to instantly populate this window with all the symbols that meet the criteria. I don't need to now wait for a new event to occur for that symbol to come in here. So depending on the kind of information that you're looking for, the top list window can be far better to use than an alert window. But they both have their particular advantages. So here, if I'm doing a sort here on relative volume, so that was that data point that I just talked about, and you can see, when something's doing 28 times normal volume, that's super significant. Now this one here happens to be an incredibly low volume stock, and I could see here by the volume today, pretty low volume. but you can select something, already know before you open it up what's going on. It's a super strong stock, up 12% for the day. And the color coding that we provide also is another advantage to being able to process this big amount of data. So we're taking all this big data and we're trying to put it in a format that's usable for the human. And we're doing that by trying to highlight certain data points. When certain values, for instance, on this 5-minute or the 30-minute volume turn colors, they're turning colors for a reason, because there's extraordinary volume during that particular time period. So there's a reason for all of that, and you can see your eyes are really drawn to some of the bigger movers that exist here. But in the top list window, so inside of this window right here, I have the top 100 relative volume leaders for the day. But then I can go through, and if I wanted to, I could sort this. Now I still have the top 100 relative volume leaders, but if I want to look at who's doing well inside of that group, or which stock really had the biggest volume occur over the last 5-minute bar, over the last 30-minute bar. This is now bringing in StockTwits relative activity as well. And there's a lot of parity oftentimes between a stock's volume and how much it's being talked about on social media. Sometimes the volume happens first, sometimes the social commentary happens first. But either way, we're sitting here through this type of technology and listening and waiting for a particular event or a particular data point to be satisfied. In this particular case, we only want to see stocks that are trading on super high relative volume. And whether the stock is up or whether it's down, you can look at the inverse here, where everything in this window here is down a lot, but at the same time really being traded on super significant volume. So just one of the many different data points that we have in the software that allow you to take a look. Like for instance, right here, if you look at the correlation between the relative volume that we're looking at and this particular chart, you can see here on the daily chart, the last 4 days have had real incredible volume compared to normal. And that's the type of price action, volume action that Trade Ideas looks for in real time. So let me go through a couple other windows. Then I want to show you some of the symbols that some of these channels delivered today, because at the end of the day, ultimately you want to know that the information that's being conveyed has some real potential in it. And there have been some great opportunities in the market, both to the upside and to the downside. So in addition to being able to open up the welcome screen, you can open up a channel window. It just opens up blank, and you can pick your channel, and just like before, it'll populate with the different windows that are set up for that channel. So the earnings channel is looking for stocks that have earnings today or earnings yesterday and have some price action associated with those today, right here in the bottom. So this is the notification window, and these are the two different top lists. So like I said earlier, like if I go to this pre-market window, some data is conveyed better through a top list, and some data is conveyed better through an alert notification window. And two good examples of this, I could be looking for a stock making a pre-market low or a pre-market high, or doing something on high relative volume. That's good for the notification. But maybe I just want to look at, what stocks are gapping up this morning, what stocks are gapping down this morning. Well, that's better for a top list window, so that when I tune right into this window, I have all the data at my disposal from which to make a judgment or a decision. And so if I wanted, for instance, to look at like a gap and go, I want to look at a stock that gapped up, retraced a little, but then started making a new high. Well, that would be better. So I could do it in a top list window, but I want to be notified when that stock is actually starting to make that new high. And in that particular case, the event-based notification, the alert window, or a multi-strategy window would be better suited for that kind of data. So one of the reasons that I mentioned support early on is that there are a lot of different ways to configure the same thing in Trade Ideas. And if you're not familiar with all the different alerts and filters, you may not be aware of the proper way to configure a window. So from a support perspective, we use the cloud link, we do the collaborative sharing to be able to share windows back and forth. And for instance, if you had created this upgapper window, and we pop it out so we can pretend this is a window that you created. If you wanted some support on that and you wanted to, it's not doing what you wanted to do, you could just right click, go to save or share to the cloud. We're going to call this the upgapper window, and we're going to do save and share. And now this link pops up. This link right here, which I highlight and then select Control-C to copy it to my clipboard, I can shoot that message to our support staff, give them a little commentary of what it's not doing, why didn't XYZ appear in this window, whatever the question may be, give me that link. I can then pull that window up exactly how you have it and see exactly why that symbol wasn't there. Maybe make a change to it myself and shoot you a cloud link back that will allow you to pull up the window that I modified correctly. So there's a nice collaborative effort through the use of the cloud, whether it's your trading buddy or whether it's our support staff, to be able to ensure that you're getting the most out of the tool and it's working the right way for you. All right, so let's do this. Okay, so let's go to the let's just go to the surge channel, for instance. This happens to be my favorite channel. The surge channel looks for a lot of momentum plays, follow-through plays, something where a stock that happens to be moving pretty significantly on nice volume. Bringing those two together kind of brought the term surge to my head. So this right here is one of my favorite views because it's giving me this real momentum. I'm a momentum trader, so I do like that kind of setup. But on the surge today, there were just a variety of different, and everything can be, you can run a history on these windows and take a look at what would have appeared had you been looking back. But like Wi-Fi, for instance, this was something that was coming through all day on the surge, and you can see from a daily perspective, put in another solid bar, but just a nice early morning move and continued to trade up. So that was one that was coming through. FFIV was another surge candidate that came through, one that was being talked about quite a bit in the morning in the trading room. But this right here was just an incredible move, and you can see here that it started not right at the market open, but a little bit after, and it started with some real big volume. That volume really was picked up by trade ideas in a variety of the different channels. The volume channel really lit up with that particular security. The surge did. I think it was also hitting the social media channel. So really having them all kind of come into play on the different channels gives you the ability to be really assured that that move is something significant. And that is exactly what we pick up. That is exactly what we spot. If I was to, let me change this to I guess I can't change it to a smaller time frame on my system, but if you had a smaller view, you'd see that as soon as that volume kicked in here, it was 4, 5, 6 times its normal rate. And when we're looking at that statistical baseline, that's the kind of data point that really does bring that symbol to the top of the window. So that was a great one. AUMN was another one. That kind of fell off at the end of the day here, but when you're starting to look for a stock making a huge percentage move, Trade Ideas really does give you the ability to really hone in on those types of candidates. So this was a really cheap stock that had a super high percentage move earlier in the day. OPTT, I think this one probably came through more than any of the other ones. And again, it fell off at the end of the day. It was a little tough even though the S&P didn't really, fall off too hard at the end of the day. A lot of the stocks that had some real strong, significant gains really did come through. But that's still another significant percentage gain today. And using Trade Ideas as your assistant, you're going to be able to spot those types of opportunities in real time. So I wanted to, I've gone here a little over a half hour. I know there's a good number of people in the room. I definitely want to make sure that I'm on topic and I'm answering maybe some of the questions that you may have. So feel free. I'm looking at the question window. So feel free if you have anything, any comment or any question on the technology. Let's not make this a one-man show. I'm more than happy to interact with you guys. or we can keep it a one-man show. So I'll just go through some of these other candidates and see if any questions come in here. The social media channel, I really do love this channel. Our partners in San Diego, we are located in San Diego, and our technology partner down the street over in Coronado is stockedwits, and we get some really great information with their data, and we've really created some great information with their data as well. You know, you look at something like this IEX. Now, this happened earlier in the day, trading up with earnings yesterday, but notice the way the data stands out. So it's color-coded in a manner to make sure that if there's some significant data point, you should be aware of it. At least, you know, bring it to your mind. Take a look at that time of day when this was going on, and it had some good follow-through through the whole day. Incredible volume, strong price action from a percentage move, and just incredibly high social mentions. So all that comes together to really create the type of follow-through. So Josh, I have a question here. Is there any way to integrate the TI app on eSignal with DOS Pro? So no, it's a good question, but let me show you what we do from our downloadable perspective, because that tool, you know, that tool does link with eSignal as well, and that's one of the great advantages of our technology. For the longest time, Trade Ideas, the downloadable, will link through a variety of different third-party brokerage applications or analytic tools. So in this particular case, if I go to if I go to Tools and I go to External Linking, I can add a link right here. And for eSignal, I just drop this into the to the detail window, and I just press and release my shift key. By doing that, it allows me to link to these external applications. DOS Trader is one of those that it does work for, but it doesn't work out of the eSignal application. Yeah, there are a lot of different, just from an integration perspective. Let's see some of the different linking that we do. And by no means are these the only places that we link to. So eSignal, we definitely do the external linking with eSignal. This is a tool that I've been using for over 20 years. So finally being integrated into it is super nice and exciting. Thinkorswim, we link with that. Realtik, Ninja, Scottrade, TradeStation, IB, Multichart, Sierra Charts, Blackwood. And even though DOS is not on here, I know for a fact it links very well. So a lot of times it's not even going to be listed on this dropdown for the linking to effectively work. But it definitely saves a lot of time and headache to be able to have these tools talk to each other. So you don't need to type in the symbol. You can just click on it and have, you know, the charts and everything else update accordingly. So Josh, you do not have access to the downloadable software with the eSignal subscription, just because of the way that eSignal is subsidizing the price for that. But if you happen to be a direct subscriber of Trade Ideas, you could use that external linking to link to eSignal or to link to DOS Pro. So Jesus, this does not work for FX. Right now we're specifically focused on equities, North American equities. Yeah, so no FX at this time. Now, right now, at Trade Ideas, we are offering an open house. So you're definitely welcome to test drive the technology, whether it's the downloadable or the technology inside of eSignal. Quite honestly, the 30-day demo that's provided inside of eSignal is really the best that's out there to take a look at the technology and to get value out of it. All right, so I'll wait for a few more questions to come in. I'll show you the backtesting tool. I'll show you the backtesting tool right here. Let me grab a strategy. So with this strategy right here, this is an optimized mean reversion strategy. This is something that had been optimized from our artificial intelligence. If I right-click and go to backtest strategy here, and I simulate the buy, you're going to see that how strong a strategy like this can be. And this is what you really strive for when you try to create an optimized strategy. So Simon, your question, you don't trade stocks, but you're just kind of wondering how much it would require me to trade stock and what does it take to make use of your system? Well, that's a tough question right there. For one, Trade Ideas is not going to educate you on how to trade stocks. It's really going to be your assistant. If you're a successful trader, it's going to make you more successful. If you're not a very good trader, it's not going to solve all of your problems. But what we do is we do identify real-time opportunities throughout the day. And those opportunities, you don't have to be a day trader to take advantage of them. A lot of these setups have a lot longer term implications, but it's giving you a footprint, if you will. It's giving you a notification that something interesting is happening with this stock, and very possibly it may be a trend reversal, and you want to be alerted and identify that type of action so you can get in at a price that's not going to provide too much risk, because you're going to know exactly where your stop is, but the overhead, the potential that it has is far greater than that risk. So Bob, we also, we don't do futures right now. It's just equities. So we're just simply equity focused, trying to do the best that we can specific to the North American equities, Canadian and the U.S. stock market. But Simon, like I said earlier, with respect to utilizing the technology, we do provide that one-on-one session. We'll connect to your desktop and we'll show you exactly how to set that up for you and make best use of it for you. So this right here, guys, this is what a really good back test would look like. This here, I'll talk a little bit about some of the metrics. This is a profit factor of 6.45. That means that the sum total of all the winning trades over the sum total of all the losing trades is a factor of 6.4. That's pretty solid. That's a good number right there. Through the sample set over the course of the last quarter of data, it's put on 265 trades. 71% of those are winners. The win-loss ratio 0.95 to 0.43. That's a good win-loss ratio. And then we give you the ability to speculate, hypothesize on the share size, the commission, the slippage, the calendar heat map. So now I can see exactly on any given day what trades occurred during that day. Where was my entry, my exit, how much did I make or lose? The optimization, this gives me a real peer into the data. This now lets me see how did these trades do at these different price levels between $10 and $20, $20 and $30. This right here, between $80 and $90, I didn't do so good. I only won 23% of the time. There were 13 trades in that sample set, and I lost money overall. This is telling me maybe I shouldn't be trading stocks that are above $80 with this particular strategy. That's the kind of informational feedback that it's giving me. The time of day, this is all pretty good. Again, this has been optimized. You saw the curve. It's a pretty strong strategy. But it utilizes this other filters area to really dive into the data and say, what's the best value to have in my strategy for a 1-minute RSI? And that doesn't mean you go through and you put a filter on every single criteria, but when it makes sense and when you notice that when the RSI is below, let's say, well, in this case, it's really only below 5, but let's say the data told you that anything below 20, you're not winning, you're not making money. Well, then you put in a minimum, you right-click in here and you say, we'll set the minimum value to 15. And if that's not the exact value you want, you can come in and say, oh, we'll set that to 19. And you use this as information from which to craft your strategy. So Michael, can I describe how TI Pro is better than a competitor's product like Benzinga? Well, Benzinga is one of our partners. I would say Benzinga is probably the best at what they do for news. I don't know that there's really anybody better there, but when you're talking about the statistical power that we have by looking at every single tick of every single stock in real time and then delivering information based on that, it's not even close, because they don't have the type of technology that we have. And that's nothing against Benzinga. Like I said, they're our partner. We use them. We use them for our earnings data, and some other things, but they don't do what we do. So I wouldn't really call them a competitor. But I do appreciate that question. And that is, that is probably, I may gloss over that, and I may have mentioned it a couple times, but that is really where the heavy lifting is done. As we're in our data center, we've got pipes from the NYSE, from NASDAQ, from Oprah for options and Canadian data and the social data, and we're bringing it all in. And there's a tremendous amount of market data that's flowing, both in the morning and as well as at the market close. It takes incredible database structure and power to be able to take that and then create this new data and deliver it out to, I've got tens of thousands of users that are all requesting different bits of data and information. And remember, I said it's server-client architecture, but most of this is being done on the server. And so we're delivering very custom streams of data to thousands and thousands of people all simultaneously. That's a lot different. It's just a lot different than what other people do out there. So I'll hop off my soapbox, but I am incredible. I've been here for a long time and tasked with making sure that the software does what it's supposed to do, making sure that it is always staying on the cutting edge. So I'm tasked with that, but I'm incredibly proud of this piece of software. I've watched it grow, and I couldn't imagine trading without it. And I think if anybody spends any time with it, they're gonna feel very much the same as I do. It's something that once you've had access to it and you've been able to get a little bit of value out of it, it's really, really difficult to trade without it. And from a pricing perspective of $50 a month, it's almost like it's free. It's just not that much for the value that you get. So guys, any more questions? My presentation is done. I mean, I could go on and on with the configuration of stuff, but I don't think that's what we want to go through. I think that the takeaway here is that this is a tool that sits alongside you, listening for opportunities, and is prepared to deliver you those opportunities so you can see in real time and capitalize on these moves that are happening, whereas previously you're only looking at them at the end of the day going, why wasn't I aware of that move? That's what we're here to do, is to solve that problem and make sure that you are aware of it, and if it's an opportunity you want to take advantage of, you're able to do so. So I appreciate all of your time here today, folks. Find us at www.trade-ideas.com. Any questions that you have, feel free to shoot me an email directly, brad@trade-ideas, or info@trade-ideas. I think I have that on a slide here too. Let's see if I can dig that up. So you can reach us on Twitter @TradeIdeas1 or @TradeIdeas. We got a Facebook page. Oftentimes the data and information is different on all those different social sites, but the email address, that's the important part right there, info or brad@trade-ideas. So right now, as far as Vincent's asking about, can anyone visit the Trade Ideas chat room right now? It may be open. We are having that open house, and so they may be keeping it open a little bit later during the day. You just go to it, and if it lets you in, feel free. I know that they open it a half hour before the market opened during the day, so give it a shot. I definitely encourage you all to go. If you get anything out of this webinar today, even if it's not Trade Ideas, the software, go to this trading room. It's going to be, you'll find it incredibly valuable and beneficial. So Charles, one last question. I'm an options trader but know very little about the eTrade platform. So, well, this is the eSignal webinar, but the eTrade platform has what's called the strategy scanner in it, and they should have a couple videos on their website specific to the strategy scanner. I think you could even Google something on YouTube and find that. But even though the skin is a little bit different than what you're seeing in eSignal or in Trade Ideas, the same core and guts exist inside of the platform inside of eTrade, the strategy scanner. The same alerts and filters exist. Okay, well, Charles meant eSignal, so good. So you're an options trader, know very little about the eSignal platform. So, Charles, I am not well versed on the tools that they have to train. I've been using eSignal for decades now, so I'm sure they do have resources online that'll help you learn more about that, but probably you'll want to contact the customer service at eSignal for that. I can certainly help you with anything related to trade ideas. You got it. All right, folks, thank you very much. I hope you have a great rest of your day, rest of the week, and hope to see you in the trading room at Trade Ideas.